everybody, welcome to my channel. In today's video, as you can see from the title, we are going to be reviewing and testing out 3 Halloween themed makeup palettes. My mom surprised me with these palettes, 2 of them the other day and 1 of them today, and I am just so excited to get my hands in these palettes and to paint my eyes. Like, I am really looking forward to seeing how these palettes perform. And that's what we're going to be showing you in this video. So let me show you the palettes that I have. So my mom surprised me with these 2 the other day, and I was just like, oh my god, I didn't even realize that these came out. I feel like my mom is more of the one that like knows when things are dropping and launching, and I'm just like the one that like receives them, you know what I mean? Like, she's really good like that. So I didn't even realize that these 2 palettes came out. They are by Makeup Revolution, and they are the Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh my goodness. So the first one that I opened was the Jack one. She only gave me 1 package and it had this inside. Let me show you guys what the inside of this palette looks like. I haven't taken off the plastic yet just because I've been waiting to film this video, but this is what this color palette looks like. You have more of the neutral shades over here and then more of the colorful shades in this palette on the opposite side. Oh my goodness, this palette is gorgeous, especially these colorful shades right here. I can't wait to dibble dabble into that. And then she's like, okay, Gina, I have one more thing for you. And I was like, what is it? And then she handed me another package and it had Sally's palette. And oh my goodness, I took the plastic off of this side, but look at these gorgeous colors. These ones, I dented it a little bit. These ones right here have more of the girly pink colors. It still has some dark neutrals and browns and some greens and purples and oranges and pinks. Oh my goodness, I love this palette. So I'm going to be swatching some of these shades, but let me get into the next palette that my mom surprised me with today. Now, I did see this palette online and I sent it to her and I was like, Mom, like, I really want this palette. Wouldn't it be so cool to have like a Halloween themed palette? When I didn't realize she already got me these 2 palettes right here, which was totally what I was looking for. I love to have collections and have like themed palettes. So this palette right here is by ColourPop. It is the Hocus Pocus palette, and this is what this palette looks like inside. I love the little Hocus Pocus design with the witches on the front, and then these are the colors right here. I feel like all 3 of these palettes are different in their own way, and that's why I wanted to come on here and not just do the Nightmare Before Christmas palette and then leave this for a different video. I wanted to do them together because I wanted to see how the formulas are in the Makeup Revolution and how the formula is for the ColourPop. I wanted to see, are the colors creamy? Are they blendable? Are they really pigmented? How do they look on the eye? Will they crease? Are they chalky? It doesn't matter how inexpensive or expensive a palette is, you're always going to have some fallout. It's the inevitable. You're gonna have fallout. It's literally just a pressed powder in a pan that you're dipping into. You're moving the powder around, and if you don't have any fallout, amazing. What are you doing? Let me know. But in all my cases of the expensive palettes that I have and the inexpensive palettes that I have, you're gonna have fallout. More fallout may be in one palette than it is the other palette, but I have always noticed that I do struggle with some fallout. We're also going to do some swatches. So I am going to swatch the Hocus Pocus palette first. So I really love the way that this palette has all of the colors on the back with like the witches pots. I really think that that is super cool. I love the foil with the gold. I really love the packaging as well. It has the witch's pot on the front. It says Hocus Pocus, and I just love the shine that it gives when the light hits it. On the inside, I love the fact that it has the witches, and then it has the colors down here. Now I'm gonna only swatch a few of them, like I said, just because we wanna, see the look that I create, but you also wanna know what this palette is like. This palette right now is sold out, but let's start swatching. So I really wanna swatch some of the shimmery shades, and then I'll also swatch some of the matte shades, just to give you an idea if you are looking to get this palette in the future. So I really want to swatch this one, these ones, this one. Like, I just want to almost like swatch them all, but I'm not going to. I have to like contain myself. So I really want to swatch Brew Potion. Oh my goodness, you guys, do you see that shine? This color, I definitely have to use this. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's dip into Tis Firm. This color is really pretty too. It reminds me more of like a burnt orange, burnt red, but it's coming off more pinky. Just a really pretty color. I love the shine on these. I feel like this really makes a gorgeous lid color. I am all about the lid. I love to have like a nice shimmer to it. Let's do I Call It a Bust. This is more of a darker shade. Oh, but look at that glitter in there. If this focuses, look at that, you guys. Wow. Oh, I have to use this one too. Look at these 3 shades so far. Absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness. So my camera turned off on me once again, typical for me, but I did swatch before my camera turned off Wench, which is right underneath I Call It a Bust, right here. Also, by the way, this palette has 15 shades and they are just gorgeous. So I'm going to be dipping into the last shade that we're going to be swatching, and it is Dead Man's Toe, which is this purple shade right here. Purple shades are very hard to formulate to make sure that they aren't patchy, and I think that this one already looks really, really good. So this is what Dead Man's Toe looks like. Really, really pigmented. I am so excited to create a look with this because all these colors are so pigmented and they seem super, super creamy and super opaque. I mean, let's just look at these colors one more time. Oh my goodness. You guys see this? It now just focused. Oh, stunning. So now I'm going to create a look using the Hocus Pocus palette. Stay tuned. Okay, you guys, so this is a look that I created with the ColourPop Hocus Pocus palette. So let me come up closer just so you guys can get another little quick look of what I did. Now, I'm going to show you guys the colors that I used because if you want to, you know, try to recreate this look, let me show you the colors that I used. Now, for makeup looks, sometimes it doesn't look like you used a lot of colors, but I did use quite a few colors in this palette to create this look. So let me show you the colors that I used. So I did dip into Full Moon for the brow bone color, which is right here, and then I also added a little bit of Wench on top of that and in the inner corner of my eye. I dipped into Hello Salem and On Toast. So Hello Salem's right here, On Toast is right here. Then I also dipped into Night of Frolic and Dead Man's Toe, so these 2 purpley shades. Then I dipped into Bewitched. And then I also added I Call It a Bust down on the lower lash line. And then for the lid colors, I do have 3 of them on there. I have Brew Potion, which is this gorgeous gold. And at the end of me doing this look, I did come back in with a little bit of my Jeffree Star Morphe setting spray just to add a little bit more oomph to the color. So I did add that at the end. Thackeray Binks, I think that's how you say it. I don't know. If you know me, you've been here for a while, I'm not good at pronouncing names. And then I also added Tis Firm right in the middle, in between Brew Potion and this purpley shade right here. And I think that is all the colors that I used to create this eye look right here for the Hocus Pocus ColourPop palette. Now let me just talk about fallout, creaminess, pigmentation, you know, the whole 9 yards of what you guys want to know about in this palette if you guys are looking to get this palette. So first of all, the pigmentation, as you guys can see, is stunning. It's gorgeous, super opaque, really went on the eye beautifully. It was very creamy. It was very blendable. Like the colors blended together perfectly. The purple colors were really nice as well. Like I mentioned, purple is a very hard color to formulate right, and there was no patchiness, and it was just really gorgeous to blend together. The shimmery shades, they just packed on so good. They weren't like chalky. They didn't like, you didn't have to pack it on a lot. Like, you literally just added the color where you wanted, and it was just so opaque and really grabbed to your brush perfectly. Now, I feel like if you used your finger, it would be as good, like just because of the warmth of your finger and being able to pack it on, but it did grab to the brush really nicely. There were some like shimmery, foily type of glitter shadows that like really do not pick up on the brush, and it's just really difficult to add on to the eye. These ones were just as gorgeous as they were swatched, was how they went on the eye. Just incredible. As for fallout, yes, I had fallout. Now, because I wanted to do this video a certain way, I did have my face done, and I do have a little bit of shadow from the eyeshadow because of a little bit of fallout. I did put a little bit of translucent powder underneath my eye, which really saved the fallout. The shade that I feel like had the most fallout was I Call It a Bus, which is the black one that does have glitter flecks in it. I believe that was really the only one that had more fallout than the others, but if I were you and you were going to be doing a look, if it's with this palette, if it's with a different palette, I always say to do your face last. Just because if you do get fallout, you can take a baby wipe or a makeup wipe, wipe it away, and have a clean slate for you to put your base, your foundations, your powders, your concealers, all of that, instead of putting it on and then having a little bit of shadow from the fallout. But as overall, this palette was incredible to work with, and I really love the pigmentations, and I feel like this is going to be a palette that I am going to use a lot because it does have those really pretty neutral shades in there, and especially this gold glitter I just feel like could go for any season. Like, that could really also be a nice Christmas lid color. So this palette is very versatile, but I love the fact that it is a Halloween themed palette. But as for this palette, I say I give it a 10 out of 10. It was really nice to work with, and I love the formula. I think that this is my first ColourPop palette, so I really love the way that the colors went on my eyes, and I love the way that they all blended together. So yeah, you guys, I am going to remove all of this, and then we're gonna get into the Nightmare Before Christmas Jack and Sally palette. So stay tuned in 1 second. Okay, you guys, so instead of doing my full face again and then doing the eyeshadow look, I was gonna do it my way this time and not have a full face on because I needed to do that to start my video, but since now we're in the middle of the video, this is what my face looks like without makeup. So I'm going to be swatching some of the colors from the Jack palette and from the Sally palette. And then I'm going to do one eye with Sally, one eye with Jack. And I'm going to do my foundation and everything at the end because it's just so much neater like that. I feel, I mean, there's a lot of people that do their foundation first, but I just like to do it last because I don't even like a little stitch of like a fallout stain on my face. That's what I'm going to call it, a fallout stain. So I'm just going to remove the little plastic overlay that are on the Makeup Revolution Jack and Sally palettes. I already removed Sally's, and now I have one more side of Jack. So which one do you want to see first? I think we're going to do Jack just because that was the palette that my mom gave me first. So let's swatch some of these colors. Now I'm going to swatch some of the more neutral shades, which are over here, and then some of the colorful shades. So we'll do like 5 swatches just because I can't swatch all of these, but we'll swatch like 5. And then we'll do 5 of Sally. So let me see. Let's do Toy Duck, which is this yellow one. We're gonna swatch Pumpkin Song, which is this matte one right here. We can swatch Madness because that's a purple, and like I said in Hocus Pocus, very hard to formulate. We will also do Sally, which is the light blue. And how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's do one more. We'll do Dead of Night because that's more of a deeper purple. So let me get these swatches on. Oh my goodness, this Toy Duck, it feels like velvet. Like I have to dip my finger back in there because that is just amazing. This color is stunning. Oh my god, I just can't get over how much it feels so velvety. All right, let me do the other colors. I don't want to get carried away. As I said, Pumpkin Song. These colors just feel extremely like velvety and creamy. Oh, this purple feels amazing too. You guys, look at how Sally looks. This color is gorgeous. Dead of Night. Oh, Dead of Night. Like, these colors just feel really velvety. Look at this one. Okay, so let me show you guys the swatches from the Jack palette. Now, they did feel very velvety. The Dead of Night, once I swatched it on my hand, it was a little chalky, but once I blended it in, it's super opaque. I think that this is the most opaque color that I added onto the swatches. As you guys can see, look at how this color pops so much off of my skin. And I also love the Toy Duck just because it's a very subtle, shimmery, yellowy shade. So this is what the shades look like. Now the purple in the Hocus Pocus palette, I have to say, was a lot more opaque and pigmented, which pigmented and opaque are the same thing, so I don't know why I said it twice, but definitely much more pigmented than the one in the Jack palette. Like I said, purple is very hard to formulate, but I feel like maybe if I work this up and make it buildable, we'll see if this palette is buildable, then I think that it will work out good. I really love this color. Like I said, it was a little chalky when I added it onto my skin, but once I really pressed it into my skin, look at the color that it came out. This is like, oh my God, I could just create a look with this. That is gorgeous. That's my favorite color so far that we swatched out of this palette. Like, imagine this color and Sally together. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't get me excited. So now we're going to swatch some of Sally, and I'm going to do Sally right below Jack. So let's see the colors that we're going to swatch. Okay, so we're going to swatch Jack just because we did Sally. So Jack is right here. We are also going to swatch Jack-o'-lantern, which is this orange shade right there. We are going to come in with Worm's Wart. That's a tongue twister. We're also going to come in with Jewel, which is right here. And let's come in with Darkness, which is right here. So let me swatch these colors, and then I'll show you guys if they're pigmented or not. Do not mind the redness. I just have super sensitive skin, so when I remove my makeup, my face gets red. Oh, look at how pretty Jack is. That's gorgeous. Oh my God. Jack-o'-lantern feels very velvety as well. Worm's Wart, this color, you guys, is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I can't wait to show you. I have two more to dip into, Jewel and Darkness. Oh, Jewel is gorgeous, and so is Darkness. So this one is Jewel and this one is Darkness. Oh, Jewel looks so pretty. I definitely have to use Jewel for the Sally side because that is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I need to twist my arm a little bit, but right underneath the blue one, we have Jack, we have Jack-o'-lantern, Worm, oh my God, tongue twister, Worm, Wart, Jewel, and Darkness. So these are the Sally ones right here. Worms, I can't even say it, and that's the color that I like. Worm. You know that one is absolutely gorgeous. I can't even get over it. And then Jewel right underneath that is just stunning. And Darkness is just a really nice dark color as well as Jack. And then the orangey color is beautiful too. So these are the swatches that I swatched with the Jack and the Sally palette. Now I'm going to create a look for you guys using these two palettes, Jack on one side, Sally on the other. We're gonna see what I create once I come back with the reveal. The only thing is, just real quick, I'm going to show you guys the colors that look like they stained my skin so far. I did not have a problem, I don't feel, with the ColourPop because I don't feel like my eyes are stained. But the dark blue one in the Jack palette and a little bit of Darkness look like they've stained, my skin just the slightest. I don't mind that. I used to use pinks and reds that have stained like my eyes, and then like the next day I'm walking around with like a pink and a red stain. It's just makeup to me. I don't mind it at all. But just if you guys are concerned, that blue shade does look like it stains. As for the pigmentation, the feeling of it, do I think it's going to be blendable? Do I think it's going to have a lot of fallout? I mean, some of the colors in these palettes that I did swatch did seem very velvety and creamy. There were other ones that felt a little bit drier, maybe like you're gonna have some fallout, maybe a little chalky, but I really can't say until I test it out on my eye, because it's different rubbing my finger on it instead of dipping a brush and blending it on my eyelid. So I really can't say, but the way that these velvet ones felt, it just was like a dream. Like, it was so soft and velvety and it felt amazing. So I just hope that the color payoff from my swatches relay on my eyes. So I am going to be doing a look with these two palettes, and I will show you guys what they look like when I'm done. Okay, you guys, so this is the look that I created with the Nightmare Before Christmas Sally and Jack palette. I am really happy with how this turned out. Before I go any further on the palette, if you guys are wondering what is on my lips, it is just the Little Twin Stars Liquid Lip Color Duo by Sugar Pill. So this is what I have on my lips right here. Really, really pretty, and I thought it went perfect with this look because I wanted to make both eyes different because I was using two different palettes, but I also wanted them to be cohesive. I did do wing liner the exact same way. I added the white the exact same way. They are just done differently with different color eyeshadows. And then I wanted to kind of have, if I turn my face this way, it's a pink look. If I turn my face this way, it is a blue look. So I wanted it to be like a half and half. So if I go like this, here we go. This is the Sally look. And if I go like this, okay, this is the Jack look. So I really like the way that my eyes turned out. Now this is definitely more dramatic than the Hocus Pocus. I wanted to do the Hocus Pocus like something that I would wear every day if I wanted to. This is something I would also wear every day because I am that type of person that I like to be dramatic. Now I don't think that I would wear the half and half lips out unless, let's say, I was going to a makeup show or somewhere where, you know, it just kind of went. I mean, would I be embarrassed rocking two lip colors? Absolutely not, because I used to do that in the past. But just for an everyday basis, I wouldn't do the double lip. But I really, really like the way that this came out. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can totally tell. I'm going to come a little bit closer. The Jack palette was definitely more pigmented in my opinion. Like, look how gorgeous like this blue color is. Like, I used like 3 different blues, and then I used a green underneath, which I feel like is coming off more blue on camera. I'm not quite sure, but I'll tell you guys the colors that I used out of the Jack palette. So I came in with Mischief, Sally, Dead of Night, and Behemoth. I don't know. I haven't watched Nightmare Before Christmas in like a decade maybe. It's been a really, really long time since I've watched it, so I'm not quite sure on the names. But let me just show you the colors that I used. So I used this color right here for my transition shade. I came in with Mischief as a deepening color for my crease. I came in with Dead of Night, which really deepened the whole look. And that was the blue that I used. And I added in Sally for the lid and the brow bone color. For underneath my eye, for the lower lash line, I used Oogie's Liar, which is this green shade right here. And that was all the colors that I used for the Jack side. Now for the Sally side, I feel like I came in with more colors because I was struggling a little bit with the pigmentation. If I'm being honest, I want to be honest with these reviews. I don't want it to be like, oh my god, they were all amazing. And if they were all amazing, I would let you know. This palette is still amazing because I love the pink side that it created. I just struggled with the pigmentation like I just mentioned. So I will show you guys the colors that I used out of the Sally palette. I used quite a bit because I was trying to add that oomph to my eye the way that the blue eye is looking. So let me just tell you what I used. So I used a bunch of different colors. So I used Love is Internal, I used Jack-O-Lantern, I used Romantic, Vampire Teddy, Misfit Love, Worms, Wart, you guys, that's a tongue twister like I said. I used Chills, I used Ghost, and I used Darkness. So I used a lot of colors to create this side. So let me show you the colors. So I used Chills, I used Ghost, Love is Internal, Jack-O-Lantern, Romantic, the Vampire Teddy, I also used Worms, Wart, and I used Darkness, and also Misfit Love. So those were the colors that I used to create the Sally side. And if I had to pick one palette that you definitely need out of this collection, I would definitely say to get the Jack. Now, if you are a makeup collector like I am, also get the Sally, because really it's about the collection. It's about having the Nightmare Before Christmas palettes. So now let's break it down. Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas. Hocus Pocus, the pigmentation and the consistency of the eyeshadows I feel were a little bit better than the ones in the Makeup Revolution Nightmare Before Christmas palette. That's just my opinion. I feel like maybe once I work these products up, kind of like when you're warming something up in your hands, you need to kind of work it up. I feel like these palettes will definitely get there once the colors are warmed up. There were a few shades that I really needed to like dig my brush into to kind of get it going. Unlike the ColourPop Hocus Pocus palette where I didn't have to do that. But I think that I created a really beautiful look, two different looks with these palettes. So I think that they are definitely something that you should have in your collection and something that you can use to create looks with. Yes, it was a little bit harder and a little bit more difficult than the Hocus Pocus, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I would definitely get these two palettes and the Hocus Pocus palette, just because if you're a makeup lover, if you're a makeup artist, if you are anything makeup related, you just need to have these palettes in your collection. And I highly recommend, like I said, a little bit harder to work with. I did feel like I had a lot more fallout with these palettes than I did with Hocus Pocus. Now, once again, that's totally fine. It's fine to have fallout. That's why I do my foundation at the end. But by the way, I need to mention that there are 36 colors in each palette, which I think is amazing. The Hocus Pocus had 15, and these ones have 36. So love these palettes. I definitely can't wait to create another totally different look using them. They just have so many different colors in here that are so versatile to create so many different looks. So if I had to recommend, let's say you could only get one palette, I would probably say the Hocus Pocus, just because the consistency was spot on through it all. These palettes right here were a little bit harder to work on. Some eyeshadows were so much more pigmented than others. Some of them were more creamy and velvet. Some of them were more, not like chalky, but drier and harder to pick up on the brush. But like I said, get all three. If you have the money, if you want it in your collection, get all three. I'm just fortunate enough that my mom surprised me with these palettes. I love you, Mom. Thank you so much. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.